Hey y'all, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
So this is take 2 of
So we were trying to be cute and we were like, let's do it in the car wash. That'll be so cute.
It's a great idea.
It's noisy in there, by the way.
Yeah. So we thought maybe I wouldn't be able to hear us that great. So take 2. So this video is about this is part 2 of our abusive behaviors series for the month of May. And today we wanted to talk to y'all about when you are abusive towards someone, because we all are at some point. And then we layer on the abuse by trying to advise or console them.
Yeah, and actually you don't even have to be abusive. The act of trying to console somebody after causing them hurt, be the one to console them after causing them hurt, is kind of in and of itself
That's
an abusive behavior.
Yeah.
If you're also, your behavior was abusive and then you're trying to counsel them too, you're like doubly abusing.
Yeah. But you could just, it could just be something that was hurtful. You recognize that it was hurtful, and now you're also trying to console them through that hurt, when really you just need to give them their space to process that hurt without you.
Okay.
And then it turns abusive.
Can't be the one that breaks it and fixes it.
Yeah.
So when you tell your truth, if it hurts them, you can't fix that hurt for them.
Yeah.
You gotta let them figure out how to do that.
Yeah. And you have to respect that process, because I think one of the reasons that it is abusive for you to intervene is because of the intent behind it. A lot of times when we do something, whether it's just something that was hurtful, or something that actually was abusive, when we then come back and try to console that person or advise them about what happened, and by advise we just mean when you come back and try to explain it away, intellectualize it away, like you're
Convince
so aware,
them or influence them that it's like, it's all right, it wasn't that serious, you're being sensitive, whatever,
when you do that, what is your intention? Why are you doing that? And a lot of times the reason that this behavior in particular is abusive is because you're trying to control the decision that they ultimately come to in terms of you, the
message that is being received even outside of the relationship. So we talk a lot about like, the image or the brand of your relationship. Maybe you're trying to protect over validating their true feelings. Right.
You don't want them to go outside of your relationship and process this, right? You don't want them to go to a friend or their family or a therapist or whomever to process things, because then your then you'll be outed that you've got this issue between the two of you. So it's the intent primarily that makes it abusive. So we talked about before, you may say like, well, I'm doing this because I care about them and I don't want to see them hurt, and like that seems very loving, but that's not the only reason you're doing it necessarily.
And it's really selfish. Like, you don't want to see them hurt because it hurts you to watch them hurt. They might need to hurt. Like, that's their opportunity. They might be growing in that. They're learning about how they feel about your truth, right? They're getting to make informed decisions about your truth. And when you want to rush them through their pain or their discomfort or their contemplation because it hurts you to watch them go through that, that's for you. That's selfish. Don't make that about them. Don't make that about a loving act. That's enabling.
There is some, I guess, respect that we need to give people in their process, because it's their process and because it's a part of their growth and their journey. So if you did something hurtful and you rush to fix it, like, no, we don't want to see people hurt, of course. And we're not advocating for you to just like hurt people and then let them be hurt.
Walk away.
But the point is that experience for them is going to shape how they, behave in the future. That's going to shape how they see you, how they see, how they relate to people. And it may be, we believe it's always for the better. And you trying to take away that opportunity for them to process what that means is abusive. So like an example I can think of is if you, like name call them or something like that. That's abusive, by the way. Name calling is abuse. And then in their process, they realize, based on how they feel, that I don't want to be in relationships with people who are verbally abusive toward me. Right? Like, that's the conclusion that they come to. Cool. That's the choice they get to make. You don't get to stop them and say, well, actually, you know, like,
it was a fluke, I didn't mean it, you're being sensitive.
Exactly. And try to make them then question, like, oh, well, maybe I can still be in relationships with people who are verbally abusive if they apologize and if it's me just being sensitive. And no, you don't get to do that. Mm-hmm. If they process it and come to the conclusion that going forward, this is not how I want to relate, I don't want to be in relationships where I feel this way, because they got to sit in it and feel that way, then that's better for them. And you trying to interfere is you being abusive.
Mm-hmm. Is that it's we kind of talked about, like, it's unfair of you to rob them of the process to get to those conclusions. Right. Even if their conclusion is like, hey, we can work through this, I accept your apology, we just need to, like, move forward differently. That's fair too. Yeah. But when you try to steal them of that process and you try to protect them from hurting, which also shields them from experiencing those lessons, that's unfair. Mm-hmm. And so it's a kind of a nice measure for your behavior sometimes. If you are positioning yourself in an unfair manner, it's abusive. Mm-hmm. If you're making them inferior and you superior, that's abusive. Yep. If you're enabling them, that's abusive. Yep. And that's so if we want reciprocity in relationships, so if you got to tell your truth and it maybe hurt their feelings, and then you don't let them feel their true feelings because it hurts you to watch them do that, that's super unfair. Yeah. That's abusive.
Yeah, you are not giving them the same space
you're asking
that you took. Yeah. That you took. Yeah. You know, you've already given them your truth, and now you're not allowing them to process and find their truth and possibly express it to you, because you don't want to see what that looks like. Yeah,
you're afraid of what they might do if they get to take up the space they deserve.
Right. That just sounds so bad. Yeah. So that's something to keep in mind. I also think, just in general with consoling, and I said this on take 1, that you have to think about your intention. So, you know, what we've been talking about in these videos is, when you realize that you are doing something that's abusive, to disengage and take a different approach. If you realize the reason that you want to console this person or advise them is so that you can control the outcome, so you can control the decision that they make or how they feel, right, or the image, you can control the way that they respond to you, then you need to disengage. You cannot console someone to control them.
It's manipulative. That's abusive as heck.
It really, really is. And so just question, when you've done something and then you try to go back and console that person, why am I really trying to do this? Do I really just want them to know that I really didn't mean what I said? Is there something that I feel like I have to explain this so that they can make an informed decision? Or am I just trying to make sure that we don't break up? Yeah. Because of what I did.
Lessen the impact of what I said somehow. Lessen the results.
Exactly. Am I trying to lessen the results of what I said? Am I trying to now counter my original action with a new action so that they'll act based on that versus the first one? If that's the case, then you're being abusive. Yeah.
Sorry, you gotta let people feel how they feel. Yeah. And if you're trying to stop them from feeling how they're feeling, or discount how they're feeling, you need to disengage. Yeah. and get some space. Let people.
Yeah. Let people have their process. All right, y'all. So, hope you enjoyed your week. Enjoy your weekend.
Wish you could have been in the car wash with us.
Right. It was so fun.
Noisy.
It was so fun though. But we will see y'all next week. We teach love.